Good day, lads. Today's a good one. We're going from guardsman to cop. And I am proud to be backing the blue in this one. This game has been a game that I've been looking forward to for quite some time, especially since its initial inception and release on Steam, and its initial, hey, this is coming soon. And I'm super excited for it because the gameplay's fun, the writing is campy as hell, and it takes me back to old cop movies where you're like, nobody says this shit in real life, and it's so good. They knew what they were going for with the writing in this game. And I think they've got a nice little gem on their hands with the isometric top-down view, some great driving mechanics that make it feel good, giving you that GTA vibe. I love how the gameplay flows, and I do love the action and mechanics of the game as a whole. There are a few things that I would like to see fixed, especially during the tutorial sections that we get to play during the demo. Now, I don't want to ruin any of the campy dialogue because I think the campy dialogue is fantastic, and it really, as I said, it hits home on those old police movies and TV shows. Lines you would never hear anybody in their real life say, but they put it in because it feels, I don't know, it feels genuine to the era that we're playing this game in, which is the 80s. Now, the only thing I don't like that I hope they change. If they don't change, it's not a big deal, but I'll live with it. I'll still be a little grumpy about it, but it's not a big deal, is this pop in and out of the characters. I don't like this overimposed zoom when a character speaks and then this drop back, especially when characters have very quick lines like right here, where it's just very, yes sir, okay, blah, 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 all that little shit. What I would prefer to see is that the characters stay in their positions that they're in, none of this back and forth who's speaking. Just light the character up and make sure that the character's in the foreground and not the background of the crowd. I think that would create a better transition and display of who's speaking. Just light the characters up, keep that, but this moving down the line like you're going down a step ladder is a little disruptive to the flow of the conversation, and it does take me out of it because I just can't stand watching it. It makes me feel a little nauseous. If you have the same problem, let me know down in the comments. But other than that, the world, the atmosphere, the graphics are fantastic, and I love them. I think they look good. It allows the game to exist in a long-term environment where it will still look good years from now. Now let's talk about gameplay, because the gameplay is a lot of fun. And the gameplay itself, the vehicles handle exactly like you'd expect them to handle in a GTA style game, whether it's a Saints Row game or a Mafia game. The vehicles handle well. They handle exactly as I expect them to. You over handbrake doing massive turns, reversing, driving forward, all that fun shit. It handles well. Vehicle collisions also a really great time. And again, more of that character choice and dialogue options. In the very beginning, I will say they do talk about corrupt cops, and I would like to see down the line in the future of this story our character be able to become a bit of a corrupt cop as a storyline option, because we do get to choose here that we want the works on the hot dog, and to be fair, that's how I take my hot dog, so you know, that's how we'll work it. But I do want to see more of these options to become a corrupt cop. You can arrest people without reading them their Miranda rights, and that goes on your signing card for when you book them. And whether that becomes just an XP penalty or something along those lines doesn't really bother me, but one thing I do want to see is more options to be a corrupt cop. I understand if they're going for a heroic cop vibe, but I would love to see it. There is the option to commandeer vehicles, you can stop and frisk, but it's not available yet in the game. I had a huge laugh when I saw that we could stop and frisk. It is the 80s after all. And as always, you cannot just commit random acts of police brutality. There is one other bug that I would like to say I think should be fixed. I was able to shout at this guy
to get him to stand down and not engage in violence against me. And then I went to go and fine him because he didn't fight me, and I failed this call out because I didn't arrest him immediately. When this is a set in stone beat within the story, I would have liked it if they had just had it so that he attacks me regardless, and that way I know what the objective is, that I have to arrest him and bring him in. So that's the only thing I'd like to see. Because I was able to talk him down, it would have been nice to still be able to find him and still move on, even if he didn't, engage in violence against me, which is a felony that brings him to jail. Let's talk about the gunplay of the game. This reminds me a little bit of Foxhole with the way that the gunplay works, and I do find it just a bit janky, and I would like to see it a little bit more in the way of fine-tuning. But it is easy to soft move the crosshair onto a perp's head and get that clean headshot in. It does make it a little bit more difficult, but I would say it's not too bad, and it does feel a little soft snappy, so you can easily swap targets from one end to the other and still make contact. It's a fun mechanic. I do like the shooting. I hope there's more gang shootouts like that. I understand you shouldn't be getting into a ton of gunfights as a cop, but in a GTA kind of theme style cop game, I'd like to see some more of it. Even if a lot of it's going to be taking down perps, I can still see this being a good fun chill game where the gunfights, I'd like them to be really engaging, really intense, and really hyper focused. It's the police chases here that I actually found myself most engaged with this, because I had a lot of different capabilities to go within the game, and it's these two blue bars up at the top that allow you to call in support vehicles throughout your police chases, such as extra squad cars coming in, spike strips, helicopters to stand over, and what those do is they wear down that blue bar on the enemy vehicle that you're pursuing, and it gets them to surrender. The one thing I do like about that, though, is that sometimes, such as in this case, they're not going to surrender. They're going to start shooting back at me. And then we get to engage in combat with them and fire off some rounds to try and take the perp out who's shooting at us back. I enjoyed this police chase. It was definitely one of the best, and we got this guy all caught up, but we did take the perp out. We weren't able to take him alive. He did get himself stuck in, and me and this other cop took him out quite easily. That has been some of the most fun. I've replayed this portion of the game several times now, and it's still the most fun I've had with a game like this in a while. I would like to see more games like this come out where they're not afraid to let you be a cop that engages in action against perps, whether they be violent or not. It's engaging, it's fun, and again, it's a video game. You shouldn't take it too seriously, but it is a good thought process of like, man, I wasn't able to take this guy alive, and it does have me wanting to see if we can do a lot of every perp alive, nobody dies runs. And that's something I'm excited for, is to see full non-lethal takedown missions where your character does not kill anybody. We go the Batman route, always using non-lethal options, talking them down, getting them surrender, or smacking them over the face with the police baton. These are the things that I'm hoping for within the combat, and I do find it good. Now let's get to the rest of the meat and potatoes of the game, and that is the beat cop aspect of the game. This is something that I found myself enjoying far too much, is simply walking a beat, and it is something that I could see myself playing for hours on end, is just looking for people who are committing crimes, giving out parking tickets, and really just doing my duty as a cop. It feels very silly to say that the beat cop aspect of the game was the most fun over doing the gunfights and the police chases, but there was something about the way that the dopamine hit comes in when you see your experience go up, you're doing the right thing, you're making the right police calls, and you're doing things that most everyday people would look at it and be like, oh, come on, I'm not that much on the sidewalk, and oh, my meter's only expired a little bit. All these little things that you look at and you're like, yeah, but you know what? The law's the law. And if you can't follow the law, you're an animal. And I'm going to treat you like an animal. And you're going to pay a fine. And that's the way it is. And I'm okay with that. What I do hope is that in the future of the game, there are people who come running out of buildings or come running from a short distance away, like they spawn in, or like, no, I've only been gone a few moments. And then it becomes a further infraction, a further fine, and a further felony. I'd like to see those little things because I do think that they'd be fun and would create a bit more of an engaging experience. I do love that you can press X on a controller, or at least for the Xbox controller. You press X and you're able to shout and talk people down, get them to surrender. You restrain them, read them their rights, and then fine them for their infraction. And then you get to release them and move on with your day. Complete a job without any issue. And it's when you get the people who resist the arrest, who fight back, who try and cause some guff towards you, forcing you to have to then engage in non-lethal force and knock them unconscious, or at least smack them enough to get them to surrender. This was a good engaging point. I didn't feel like the block with the baton did much. That might be just because I really wasn't focusing on it, or I wasn't really paying attention to how I was operating. But I did, as I said, I found it engaging. I spent most of my time trying to shout this guy down. And of course, Kelly keeps shooting me in the back, electrocuting me while this guy crawls away. He does surrender. We are able to force restrain him right about here and get him arrested so we can get him picked up by an escort unit. This is, again, something I enjoy. We're able to arrest people, read them their rights, and call in escort units, someone else who's able to bring this perp back to the station while we're still out walking our beat. This is a nice touch, and I really feel like the devs here have been thinking about everything when it comes to making the best possible police simulator, arcadey style game that they absolutely can. And it's here where you think this guy running away, you wouldn't need to arrest him, just find him, but he is evading arrest. That is a felony, and you do have to arrest them and book them. So this is one of those moments where sometimes the perp can get too far away, you arrest, and you forget to hit X. I think the timestamp for how long you have to press X to read them their rights should be a little bit longer, and you should be able to read them their rights at a different point as an interaction point. So when you pull up your escort duty or something of that nature, you're able to read them their rights if you miss the button icon, because I did forget that once, and I did have to file a booking card that said I did not read them their rights, and that made me feel really shitty. I'm trying to be a good cop here. I missed reading this guy his rights. All of a sudden, I have to fix that. This is something I thought just might need a little update into the command wheel menu, just so if you miss that short range timer, you can hit it again and read them their rights. I would like to see that. I think that's a good call. So now let's talk about the helicopter gameplay. This was something I was not expecting, being able to fly a helicopter in this demo, and it was a good bit of fun. Being able to control the spotlight and call allies in to bring the perp down does take me a bit out of the police chase aspect that I loved with being in the squad car. While the helicopter chase section was engaging and was fun, it definitely wasn't as much fun as being on the ground, calling in support from the ground. It gives you this eye in the sky, almost tactical command, and I did have a better run using the spike strips than I do when on the ground and in a police chase. But this definitely took me a bit out of being a beat cop and having my own beat, having my own squad car, having my partner. It took me out of that. I don't think it's a bad aspect. I hope the helicopter missions are a bit more far and few between than consistent. I like being a cop on the ground. It definitely gave me a lot more enjoyment being a cop on the ground than doing a helicopter chase. But again, it was still fun, enjoyable, and a good time. It definitely shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing. I definitely think that these missions, when they're expanded upon fully and definitely see their full light, I think will be fantastic little missions to play. All in all, the Precinct, I think, is a game that if you enjoy GTA-style games or you've been wanting to play a GTA-style game as a cop, this is going to be a game for you. It gives me that feeling of nostalgia and thinking back on Sleeping Dogs and wishing beyond hope that there would be a Sleeping Dogs 2 one day. But this game right here is definitely giving me that feel, that fulfillment, and that enjoyment of playing as a cop, having a good time with it, and it is well crafted and well made so far. There's very few bugs. There's a few minor issues, as I've stated throughout, that I'd like to see fixed. But other than that, there is nothing major. They've done a great job so far. I'm looking forward to it. If you've encountered any crazy bugs, let me know down in the comments below. If you don't like the control scheme, try with mouse and keyboard. I think controller is perfectly fine. I understand there's going to be people who say you can't get headshots as easy in controller. You're right, you can't. But this game is also coming out for consoles, and I think that's the appropriate way to do it. I hope this game comes out on Steam Deck as well, because I can absolutely see myself playing this in bed and not getting to bed on a normal time, because I'm having more fun pretending to be a cop and going around. And again, Steam Deck controls are exactly the same. In the video settings, they do have a handheld setting, so I imagine it is coming to Steam Deck as well with that bit of knowledge. To the devs, thank you so much for releasing a demo, even if it is pre-alpha footage. I'm excited to see where your game is and when it's going to come out. I think you're in a good spot. I wish you the very best of luck with this release. I saw on the Discord it's had 100,000 downloads. It needs more downloads. More people need to play this demo. See if it's for you, because I think this game really does have what it takes to be a fantastic title, to really get people excited about indie devs creating awesome projects. And to all you dads and adult gamers who have busy schedules and lives like myself, who don't have time to play games, I think this is going to be one of the best games for you to pick up, play, then go, you know what, I had good fun with that. I can't wait to play another day and really be thinking about it and excited to come back to it again. Kind of like how when we're playing through GTA stories for the first time, you're like, God damn, I can't wait to log back in and play that more. So my friends, have a wonderful rest of the day. And thank you to my patrons for supporting on Patreon. There's a link down below if you want to support there. Thank you to the channel supporters here on YouTube. Thank you to you who supports for free by tickling the algorithm and doing everything you need to make sure that this video reaches as many people possible. Take care, lads. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Peace.